She spends her last coins to save the alpha from the auction. A Luna's Romance Audiobooks, original story. Opening hello, my lovely listeners. This is Luna, and welcome back to Luna's Romance Audiobooks, where every story is a journey into love, destiny, and the magic of the mate bond. Today's tale is something truly special. A story of sacrifice, hidden royalty, and a love that defies every chain meant to bind it. It's called She Spends Her Last Coins to Save the Alpha from the Auction. So grab your favorite cozy spot, settle in, and let me take you into a world where a penniless Omega risks everything to save a fallen king, not knowing he's about to become her entire world. Let's begin. Prologue. The silver chains burned against my palms, but I didn't let go. I couldn't. The auctioneer's voice boomed through the underground market, each word hammering nails into my chest. Going once, going twice. My fingers tightened around the 3 copper coins in my pocket. Everything I had left in this world. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough for a wolf like him. But when his eyes met mine across that crowded room of slavers and monsters, something inside me shattered and reformed all at once. Those silver eyes, dulled by wolfsbane and pain, held something I recognized. Hopelessness. Rage. A kingship stolen. I didn't know who he was then. I only knew I couldn't let them take him. 3 coppers! My voice cracked as I thrust my hand into the air. The room erupted in laughter. The auctioneer sneered. Little Omega, this specimen starts at 3 gold. I'll work it off. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. I'll serve whoever buys him. 20 years of service. My life for his freedom. The laughter died, and in the silence that followed, his scent hit me like a thunderstorm. Pine and winter frost and something ancient that made my wolf howl in recognition. Mate, oh goddess, what had I just done? Chapter 1, 3 days earlier. The bread was stale, but I ate it anyway. I sat on the edge of the fountain in the market square of Ashenvale, watching wolves in fine clothes hurry past without seeing me. That was the thing about being Omega. We were invisible until someone needed us to scrub floors or bear children. My stomach growled. The bread wasn't helping. Kira! Old Marta's voice cut through the crowd. She waddled toward me, her round face creased with worry. Child? You look half-starved. I'm fine. I forced a smile, tucking a strand of dark hair behind my ear. The lie tasted bitter. Marta wasn't fooled. She pressed a warm meat pie into my hands. Your mother would haunt me if I let you waste away. Eat. The scent of seasoned beef and herbs made my mouth water. I can't pay you. Did I ask for payment? She patted my cheek with flour-dusted fingers. Besides, I need help with the evening rush. You can work it off if it'll soothe that stubborn pride. I bit into the pie, nearly moaning at the taste. Real food. When was the last time I'd had real food? There's talk in the market, Marta said quietly, glancing around. The Red Claw Pack is holding an auction tonight. At the old warehouse by the docks. My blood chilled. The Red Claw Pack dealt in things no decent wolf would touch. Slaves, wolfsbane, stolen relics. Why are you telling me this? Because they say they've captured someone important. Someone from the Northern Territories. Her eyes met mine. Someone who might fetch a king's ransom. The Northern Territories. The words sent a shiver down my spine. Every wolf knew the stories. The mighty Alpha King who'd ruled there. The curse that had destroyed his kingdom. The civil war that had torn the packs apart. Marta, I'm Omega. What could I possibly... Your mother used to say you had a gift, Kira. That you saw things others didn't. She squeezed my hand. I'm just telling you what I heard. What you do with it is your choice. She left me there with half a meat pie and questions I couldn't answer. I should have gone back to my tiny rented room. Should have ignored the whisper in my chest that said, Go, go. You need to go. Instead, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of blood and gold, I found myself walking toward the docks. The warehouse loomed ahead, its broken windows like empty eyes. Wolves in dark cloaks guarded the entrance, their scents sharp with aggression and greed. I almost turned back. Then the wind shifted, and I caught it. A scent that made every hair on my body stand on end. Pine and winter frost, yes, but underneath. Power. Ancient, terrible, magnificent power wrapped in chains and wolfsbane. My wolf stirred for the first time in years, pressing against my consciousness with an urgency that stole my breath. Mate. Our mate. Save him. Save him! No, I whispered. That's impossible. But my feet were already moving toward the entrance. The guard looked me up and down, taking in my threadbare dress and too thin frame. Auctions for buyers, Omega, not beggars. I have coin. I pulled out my 3 coppers, holding them up like they were treasure. He laughed, but he let me pass. The warehouse interior was packed with wolves, alphas, betas, even a few omegas with wealthy masters. They clustered around a raised platform, where a grizzled wolf with scarred hands stood beside iron cages. Welcome, welcome, the auctioneer's voice boomed. Tonight we have something special for our discerning customers. Rare items from the fallen Northern Kingdom. My heart pounded as he unveiled the first cage. A young she-wolf, barely out of adolescence, cowered inside. Her scent was sharp with fear. Omega breeder, excellent bloodlines, starting bid. I looked away, bile rising in my throat. This was wrong. All of it was wrong. And now, the auctioneer continued, our prize item of the evening. 2 guards dragged a larger cage onto the platform. The canvas covering it fell away, and the crowd gasped. Even beaten, even broken, he was magnificent. He was tall, taller than any alpha I'd ever seen. Silver chains wrapped around his wrists and throat, etched with runes that pulsed with sickly magic. Wolfsbane burned into his skin, leaving angry welts. His dark hair fell past his shoulders, matted with blood and dirt. But it was his eyes that trapped me. Silver. Not gray or blue, but pure, molten silver that seemed to glow even in the dim warehouse light. The eyes of royalty. The eyes of a king. This specimen, the auctioneer announced with barely contained glee, is from the Northern royal bloodline. Perhaps even, though we make no guarantees, the lost Alpha King himself. The crowd erupted in excited murmurs. I couldn't breathe. The male's gaze swept over the assembly with naked contempt. His lips curled in a snarl despite the wolfsbane burning through his system. He looked like a caged lion, deadly even in chains. Then his eyes found mine. The world stopped. Heat exploded through my body, my wolf screaming in recognition. The mate bond slammed into place like a lightning strike, binding me to this stranger, this prisoner, this king with chains of destiny I'd never asked for. His nostrils flared. His eyes widened. He felt it too. Starting bid, 3 gold pieces, the auctioneer called. 3 gold. I had 3 coppers. A well-dressed alpha raised his hand. 5 gold. 10, called another. The bids climbed higher. 15 gold. 20. 25. I watched helplessly as they bargained for my mate like he was livestock. The bond between us pulled tighter with each passing second, painful and beautiful and completely impossible. He never looked away from me. Even when the bid reached 50 gold, even when a female alpha in silk declared she'd pay 100, his silver eyes stayed locked on mine. I saw the moment he made his decision. His lips moved, forming a single word I could read across the distance. Don't. He didn't want me to save him. Didn't want me to throw my life away for a stranger. But he wasn't a stranger. Not anymore. 100 gold going once, the auctioneer called. Going twice. 3 coppers! My voice rang out before I could stop it. The crowd fell silent, then exploded in laughter. The auctioneer's face twisted in annoyance. Girl, the bid is at 100. I'll work it off. I pushed through the crowd toward the platform, my heart hammering so hard I thought it might burst. 20 years of service. My life for his freedom. The laughter died. The female alpha who'd bid 100 stepped forward, her scent laced with fury. "You dare interrupt?" "She makes an interesting offer," a new voice drawled. The crowd parted for a male in expensive dark clothing, his scent marking him as Red Claw Pack. The leader, judging by how the others deferred to him. He circled me slowly, like a predator sizing up prey. "An Omega's service is worth approximately 5 gold a year on the market. 20 years, he tapped his chin. That's 100 gold. Exactly matching our current bid. My stomach dropped. I hadn't thought this through. Hadn't thought at all. "Of course," he continued, "you'd be signing away your freedom, becoming property. Is this male really worth that, little Omega?" I looked at the king in chains, at my mate, at the male destiny had chosen for me in the worst possible moment. His silver eyes blazed with fury and something that looked like fear. For me. "Yes," I whispered. "He's worth it." The Red Claw leader smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Then we have a deal. The Omega takes the specimen. But," he grabbed my wrist, his claws extending slightly, "if you fail to provide adequate service, if you try to run, we'll hunt you both down. Understood?" I nodded, unable to speak. He gestured to his guards. "Release the merchandise to its new owner." They dragged the cage off the platform and opened it. My mate stumbled out, the chains still burning his skin. Up close, I could see how badly they'd hurt him. Bruises layered over bruises, cuts that should have healed, but festered with wolfsbane. He towered over me, even weakened. His scent wrapped around me like a storm, making my wolf whine with need. "Can you walk?" I asked softly. His jaw clenched. "I'm not your pet, Omega." "No," I agreed, reaching for his arm to steady him. "You're my mate." His sharp intake of breath told me he'd been hoping I hadn't realized, hadn't felt it. "We need to leave," I said, "before they change their minds." He let me guide him toward the exit, though every line of his body radiated tension. The crowd parted for us, the penniless Omega and her broken king. We were almost to the door when the Red Claw leader's voice stopped us cold. "Oh, and Omega, your service begins tomorrow at dawn. Don't be late." I didn't look back, just kept walking, my mate's weight heavy against my side, my future signed away on 3 copper coins and a prayer. Outside, the night air hit us like a blessing. He pulled away from me immediately, putting distance between us despite the way the bond screamed in protest. "You're a fool," he said, his voice rough as gravel. "You should have let them take me." "Probably." I met his silver eyes. But I couldn't. "Why?" The word came out broken. "You don't know me. Don't know what I've done. What I know you're my mate." The simple truth hung between us. I know the goddess doesn't make mistakes, and I know I wasn't going to let them sell you to someone who'd break you. He laughed, bitter and sharp. "Little Omega, I'm already broken. Have been for 2 years. You just traded your freedom for damaged goods. Then I guess we'll be broken together." I held out my hand. "I'm Kira." He stared at my hand like it might bite him. Finally, slowly, he took it. His palm was rough with calluses and scars, but his touch was gentle. "Theron," he said. "My name is Theron. A name fit for a king." The bond between us pulsed with warmth, with rightness, with a certainty that terrified me. I'd just gambled everything on a stranger. On a mate I didn't know, couldn't afford, and had no idea how to save. But as his hand tightened on mine, I couldn't bring myself to regret it. "Come on," I said. "I have a room. It's small, but it's safe." "Kira." My name on his lips made my wolf purr. "What have you done?" I smiled despite everything. "Something really, really stupid. Now let's go before they decide an Omega's word isn't worth a king's ransom after all." He followed me into the night, this broken king, this impossible mate, and neither of us knew that the real nightmare was just beginning. Chapter 2. My room was exactly as I'd described it, small, barely large enough for the narrow bed and rickety table that comprised all my worldly possessions. Theron filled the space completely. He stood in the center of the room, silver chains still wrapped around his wrists, and looked around with an expression I couldn't read. Disgust? Pity? I couldn't tell. "The chains," I said, breaking the awkward silence. "Can we remove them?" "Not without the key." He held up his wrists. The runes etched into the silver glowed faintly, pulsing in time with his heartbeat. "They're spelled. Try to remove them without the proper ritual, and they'll burn straight through to the bone." I winced. "What about the wolfsbane?" "Will work its way out of my system eventually." He lowered his arms. "A few days, maybe a week. Sit." I gestured to the bed, the only place to sit. "I'll get water." "Kira, please." I met his eyes. "Just let me help." He sat, the bed creaking under his weight. I grabbed the chipped wash basin and the threadbare cloth I used for bathing, filling it with water from the pitcher. When I turned back, he was watching me with those unnerving silver eyes. "You should have left me there," he said quietly. "You mentioned that already." I knelt in front of him, dipping the cloth in water. "May I?" He nodded stiffly. I started with his face, gently cleaning away the dried blood and grime. Up close, I could see the sharp angles of his jaw, the aristocratic slope of his nose, the full lips pressed into a hard line. Even beaten and starved, he was beautiful in a way that made my chest ache. "You're staring," he murmured. "Sorry." I wasn't sorry. You look like the old paintings of the Northern kings." His expression shuddered. "Those kings are dead." "Are they?" I moved to his neck, carefully working around the collar-like chain. His skin was hot to the touch, fevered from the wolfsbane. "The auctioneer seemed to think. The auctioneer's a lying bastard who'd sell his own mother for a copper." Theron's voice was flat. "I'm no one. Nothing. Just another casualty of a war that ended 2 years ago." I didn't believe him. The way he held himself, even broken, the authority that radiated from him despite the chains, the educated cadence of his speech, the silver eyes that marked Northern royalty. But I didn't push. Instead, I wrung out the cloth and moved to his arms, cleaning the wounds the silver had left. He hissed when I touched a particularly bad burn. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "It's not your fault." His free hand caught mine, stilling my movements. His touch sent sparks racing up my arm. "You shouldn't have to do this. Take care of me like some invalid. You're my mate." The words felt strange on my tongue, foreign and right all at once. What else would I do? Reject me? His silver eyes burned into mine. "Walk away before you're dragged down with me. You still could, you know. Disappear before dawn. The Red Claw Pack wouldn't hunt you down for 3 coppers. They'd hunt me for breaking a deal." I pulled my hand free and continued cleaning his wounds. "And I don't break my word. Noble." The word dripped with sarcasm. "And stupid." Probably both. I stood, carrying the now filthy water to the window and dumping it out. "But it's done. We're bound now, whether we like it or not. The bond can be broken." His voice was very quiet. "If we don't complete the mating." My wolf snarled in my chest, furious at the suggestion. "Is that what you want?" Silence stretched between us. "What I want doesn't matter," he finally said. "What matters is keeping you safe. And being bound to me, to the mess I've become, is the opposite of safe." I turned to face him. "What happened to you? In the north?" His laugh was broken glass. "What didn't happen? War. Betrayal. A curse that ate through my kingdom like a plague." He looked down at his chained hands. "I watched everyone I loved die, Kira. My family, my pack, my people. All of them gone because I was too weak to save them." The pain in his voice made my heart crack. "That's not—" "It is." He stood abruptly, the chains rattling. I was their king. I was supposed to protect them. Instead, I failed, lost everything. And now I'm here, sold at auction like livestock, dragging down the one person foolish enough to save me. I crossed the room until I stood directly in front of him. He was so much taller that I had to crane my neck to meet his eyes. "You're not dragging me down," I said firmly. "I made a choice. My choice, and I don't regret it. You will." But his hand came up to cup my cheek, his touch impossibly gentle despite the rough calluses. "When you realize what I've brought to your door, you'll regret it." His thumb traced my cheekbone, and heat pooled low in my belly. The mate bond pulsed between us, urging me closer, begging for more contact. "Theron," I breathed. His eyes darkened, the silver swirling with molten gold, his wolf rising to the surface. His scent intensified, wrapping around me like a claim. "You smell like summer rain," he murmured, "sweet and clean and—" He closed his eyes, jaw clenching. "I should go." "Go where?" I stepped closer, my hands resting on his chest. I could feel his heart hammering under my palms. "You have nowhere else." "I'll figure something out." But he didn't move, didn't pull away. "Stay." The word came out smaller than I'd intended. "Please, just for tonight." His eyes opened, and the war raging in their silver depths stole my breath. Want and fear and something deeper. Something that looked like— "If I stay," he said roughly, "I won't be able to stop myself from claiming you. The bond, it's too strong. And you deserve better than a broken king who'll bring you nothing but ruin." "What if I don't want better?" I rose on my toes, bringing my lips close to his. "What if I want you?" His control shattered. He kissed me like a drowning man finding air, desperate and fierce and achingly tender all at once. His hands tangled in my hair, angling my head to deepen the kiss. I melted against him, my body fitting to his like we were made for this. The bond sang between us, golden and perfect. When he finally pulled back, we were both breathing hard. "This is a mistake," he said against my lips. "Then let's make it together." I tugged him toward the bed. He followed, helpless against the pull of the bond, of destiny, of two broken souls finding each other in the dark. We didn't complete the mating. He wouldn't, not with the chains still on, not without being able to claim me properly. But we lay tangled together on my narrow bed, his arms wrapped around me, his scent surrounding me like a shield. "Tell me about the North," I whispered into the darkness, "before it fell." His chest rumbled under my ear as he spoke. It was beautiful. Mountains that touched the sky, forests so thick you could walk for days without seeing the sun. The palace was carved from white stone, and in winter, when the snow fell, it looked like something from a fairy tale. What happened? His arms tightened around me. "My uncle. He wanted the throne, wanted power. When my father refused to step down, he made a deal with a dark witch. She cursed our bloodline. Any wolf who carried royal blood would slowly lose their humanity until they became feral." I gasped. "That's evil?" "Yes." His voice was hollow. "It spread through the palace like wildfire. My mother went feral first. She had to be put down. Then my brother, my cousins. One by one, I watched them turn into monsters." "But you didn't," I said softly. "You're still you. For now." The bleakness in his tone chilled me. "The curse affects everyone differently. Some turn in days, some take years. I've lasted 2 years, but I can feel it, Kira. The wolf inside getting stronger, harder to control. One day I won't be able to stop it. There has to be a cure." "There is." He was quiet for a long moment. "True love's sacrifice. A mate who loves me enough to die for me can break the curse." My blood turned to ice. Die? The witch's spell requires a life for a life. A willing sacrifice, given freely, out of love. He pressed his lips to my hair. "That's why I told you to reject the bond. Why I tried to push you away. Because loving me means dying for me, and I won't let that happen. I turned in his arms until I could see his face. What if there's another way? There isn't. I've searched for 2 years, consulted every witch, every healer, every scholar I could find. The answer is always the same. His silver eyes were ancient with grief. So, I ran. Kept moving, kept hiding, tried to stay ahead of the curse, until the Red Claw Pack found me 3 months ago. We'll find another way, I said fiercely. We have to. Kira. No. I pressed my finger to his lips. I didn't spend my last 3 coins saving you just to lose you to some curse. We'll break it. Together. He kissed my finger, his eyes impossibly sad. You have too much faith in fate, little Omega. And you don't have enough. I settled back against his chest. Rest now. Tomorrow we figure out how to break you free of those chains and that curse. Tomorrow you report for service to the Red Claw Pack, he reminded me grimly, and I'll be lucky if they don't decide you're more valuable than me and keep you instead. The thought had occurred to me, but I pushed it away, focusing instead on the solid warmth of my mate, the steady beat of his heart, the way his arms held me like I was something precious. For tonight, we were safe. Tomorrow could bring whatever horrors it wanted. I'd face them with a king by my side, even if he'd forgotten he was one. Chapter 3. Dawn came too quickly. I woke to find Theron already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed with his chained hands clasped between his knees. His scent was troubled, pine forest after a storm. You should eat something before you go, he said without turning. I sat up, pushing tangled hair from my face. I don't have anything. He gestured to the table where a wrapped bundle sat. I went out early. There's bread and cheese. It's not much. You went out? Alarm spiked through me. Theron, if someone saw you, if they reported... I was careful. He finally looked at me, and my breath caught. In the morning light, he was devastating. All sharp angles and silver eyes and barely leashed power. I'm not completely helpless, despite appearances. I moved to the table, unwrapping the bundle. The bread was fresh, still warm. How did you pay for this? I didn't. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Old habit. Being king teaches you to be charming when necessary. The baker's daughter gave it to me after I helped her move some flour sacks. The thought of other women looking at him made my wolf bristle with jealousy. I shoved the feeling down, tearing off a piece of bread. Eat with me, I said. We shared the simple meal in silence, the weight of what was coming pressing down on us both. When the bread was gone, I stood and smoothed my dress, my only dress, worn and patched but clean. I should go. I didn't move. Theron rose and crossed to me. His hands, still chained, came up to cut my face. Be careful. The Red Claw Pack are not good wolves. If they ask you to do anything that feels wrong, I know. I covered his hands with mine. I'll be fine. Promise me something. His silver eyes bore into mine. If things go bad, if they try to hurt you, run. Don't worry about the deal. Don't worry about me. Just run. Theron? Promise me, Kira. His voice cracked. I can survive many things, but watching you suffer for my sake isn't one of them. I stood on my toes and kissed him, soft and sweet. I promise I'll be smart. That's the best I can give you. He pulled me close, resting his forehead against mine. The bond between us thrummed with warmth and worry and affection still too new to name. Come back to me, he whispered. Always. The Red Claw Pack's compound was on the other side of Ashenvale, in the district where decent wolves didn't go. The buildings were run down, the streets dirty, the scents aggressive and wrong. Guards at the gate checked my name against a list before letting me through. Inside, the compound was a hive of activity. Wolves moving crates, counting coins, arguing over inventory. All of it illegal, I was certain. Smuggled goods and stolen property, and worse. You must be the Omega. A sharp-faced woman appeared at my elbow. Her scent marked her as Beta, and her eyes held the calculating coldness of someone who'd sold their soul long ago. I'm Vera. You'll be working under me. Follow. She led me through the compound to a large warehouse. Inside, female Omegas worked at long tables, sorting through piles of everything. Jewelry, weapons, documents, artifacts. We fence goods for various clients, Vera explained. Your job is to sort, catalog, and prepare items for resale. Can you read and write? Yes. Her eyebrows rose. Educated Omega. Rare. Good. You'll be on documentation duty. She pointed to a desk piled high with ledgers. Record every item that comes through. Description, estimated value, client name. Everything. Mistakes will be punished. Understood? I nodded, my stomach knotting. One more thing. Vera stepped closer, her scent sharp with warning. The male you purchased last night, where are you keeping him? My blood chilled. Why? The boss wants to know. Says a wolf of that quality shouldn't be left unsupervised. Might decide to cause trouble. He's chained and poisoned with wolfsbane, I said carefully. He's not a threat to anyone. That's not what I asked. Vera's smile didn't reach her eyes. Where is he? I thought fast. Giving up my address meant putting Theron at risk, but refusing to answer would raise suspicions. He's safe, I said, and that's all you need to know. I honored my end of the bargain. Where I keep what I purchased is my business. Vera's eyes narrowed. For a long moment I thought she might strike me. Then she laughed, a cold, brittle sound. Bold for an Omega. Let's see if that boldness lasts. She gestured to the desk. Get to work. You have 50 items to catalog before lunch. The morning passed in a blur of stolen goods and careful documentation. Emerald necklaces taken from murdered nobles. Ancient texts stolen from pack libraries. Weapons etched with runes I didn't recognize. Everything was tainted. Everything stank of blood and betrayal. Halfway through the morning, a commotion at the warehouse entrance made everyone look up. The Red Claw pack leader, the one from the auction, strode in with 2 guards. Between them they dragged a young male wolf, beaten and bloodied. Please, the male begged. I don't know anything, I swear. The leader backhanded him casually. You were seen talking to the northern refugees. What did they tell you? Nothing, I swear on the goddess. Another hit. The male's head snapped back, blood spraying. I looked away, bile rising in my throat. Pay attention, Vera hissed beside me. This is what happens to traitors. The interrogation continued, brutal and efficient. The male confessed to helping northern wolves escape the territory. The leader smiled and slit his throat. The body hit the floor with a wet thump. Clean that up, the leader said to no one in particular. Then his eyes found me across the warehouse. And you, Omega, come here. My legs felt like water, but I forced myself to walk forward. Up close, the pack leader was even more terrifying. Scars crossed his face, and his scent was drenched in old violence and fresh blood. I hear you're being difficult about your purchase, he said mildly. I'm honoring our agreement. I kept my voice steady. Working off my debt. Yes, but I'm curious about the male. He circled me slowly. Such a strong reaction at the auction. Such willingness to sacrifice. Makes me wonder if he's more valuable than we thought. My heart hammered. He's not. He's just what? The leader stopped in front of me. Just some random wolf you felt compelled to save? Or something more? The mate bond pulsed in my chest, screaming at me to run, to fight, to protect. He needed help, I said quietly. That's all. The leader studied me like I was an interesting insect. Well, if he's nothing special, you won't mind if we check on him, make sure he's properly secured. Our deal was for my service, not supervision of my property. The words were out before I could stop them. The warehouse went silent. The leader's eyes flashed with fury. Then, impossibly, he smiled. "You have spine. I like that. Most Omegas would be pissing themselves right now." He turned to Vera. "Let her work, but watch her. If the male causes any trouble, I want to know immediately." "Yes, sir." He left, his guards following. The body on the floor was dragged away, leaving a streak of blood across the concrete. I returned to my desk on shaking legs. "You're either very brave or very stupid," one of the other Omegas whispered. "He kills wolves for less than that." "Probably stupid," I admitted, but I'd protected Theron's location. For now, that was what mattered. The rest of the day passed without incident. I cataloged stolen goods, avoided Vera's suspicious glances, and counted the minutes until I could leave. When the sun finally began to set, Vera dismissed us with a curt wave. I practically ran from the compound. The journey back to my room felt endless. Every shadow made me jump. Every scent put me on edge. What if they'd followed me? What if they'd already found Theron? I burst through my door and froze. Theron stood in the center of the room, covered in blood. At his feet lay 2 wolves in red claw colors, their throats torn out. "They came for me," he said, his silver eyes wild with barely contained feral rage. "About an hour after you left." I stared at the bodies, at the blood, at my mate, whose control was fraying at the edges. "We need to run," I whispered. "No." He stepped over the bodies to reach me, pulling me into his arms. His scent was all wrong, too wild, too dangerous. The curse pushing closer to the surface. "We need to disappear. Tonight. Before they realize these 2 aren't coming back." I looked at the dead wolves, then back at Theron. Blood matted his hair, splattered across his chest. But it was his eyes that terrified me. The silver was bleeding into gold, his wolf too close to the surface. "Your control is slipping, I know." His hands trembled against my back. "The wolfsbane is out of my system. The curse is getting stronger. When they attacked, I just lost it." A knock at the door made us both freeze. "Kira?" Old Marta's voice filtered through. "Dear, are you all right? I heard shouting." Theron's hand clamped over my mouth before I could answer. His eyes bored into mine, a silent plea. "I'm fine, Marta," I called out, my voice muffled against his palm. He lowered his hand. "Just stubbed my toe. Nothing to worry about." "Well, all right. I brought you some stew if you're hungry." "Thank you. Just leave it by the door. I'll get it in a moment." We waited until her footsteps faded away. "We can't stay here," Theron said, "and we can't leave the bodies. They'll search every room in this building." My mind raced. The old temple, outside the city walls. It's been abandoned for years. "Can you get us there without being seen?" I looked at the window. "Maybe, if we wait until full dark." "Then we wait." He pulled me closer, burying his face in my hair. "I'm sorry, Kira, for all of this. You should have let them take me." "Stop saying that." I wrapped my arms around him, ignoring the blood. "We're in this together now." We spent the next hour preparing. I packed what little I owned, a spare dress, the blanket from my bed, the last piece of bread. Theron wrapped the bodies in my bedsheet, his face grim. When true darkness fell, we moved. Theron carried both bodies like they weighed nothing, the chains on his wrists rattling softly. I led the way through back alleys and forgotten paths, every sense on high alert. The temple loomed ahead, its broken spire reaching toward the stars. The goddess's abandoned house, locals called it. After the Great War, when so many lost faith, places like this fell into ruin. We slipped inside through a gap in the wall. The interior was a mess of fallen stones and overgrown vines. But it was dry and hidden and ours. Theron disposed of the bodies in a collapsed section of the floor, covering them with rubble. When he was done, he sat heavily on a broken pillar, his head in his hands. I could see him shaking. "Theron?" I approached carefully. "Don't." His voice was raw. "Don't come closer. Not right now." "Why not?" "Because I can barely control my wolf, and you smell like everything I want to claim and devour." He looked up, and his eyes were pure molten gold. "The curse is winning, Kira. I can feel it eating away at my humanity. In a few days, maybe a week, I won't be the male you saved. I'll be a monster." I sat beside him anyway, close enough that our legs touched. "Then we have a few days to break the curse." He laughed bitterly. "How? We're fugitives now. The Red Claw Pack will hunt us. We have no resources, no allies, no. We have each other." I took his chained hands in mine, and we have the mate bond. That has to count for something. His expression softened. "You really believe that, don't you? That love conquers all?" "I believe the goddess doesn't give us challenges we can't overcome." I met his golden eyes. "Tell me about the curse. Every detail. There has to be something we're missing." He was quiet for a long moment. Then he began to speak. "The witch who cursed us was named Morgatha. She'd been my father's advisor before she revealed her true nature. The spell she cast required a sacrifice. My uncle gave her his firstborn son." His voice cracked. "A child. She murdered a child to fuel her magic." I squeezed his hands. "The curse affects the royal bloodline specifically. It feeds on our power, turns our strength against us. The stronger the wolf, the faster they turn feral." He looked at our joined hands. "I'm the strongest of my line, which means I have the least time." "What about the cure? You said true love's sacrifice." The witch's exact words were, "Only when one who loves freely chooses death over life, giving their last breath for a cursed king, shall the bloodline be cleansed." He pulled his hands free. "It's a death sentence, Kira, for whoever loves me." "What if there's a loophole?" I stood, pacing the ruined temple. Magic always has loopholes. What if last breath doesn't mean death? What if it means something else? "I've thought of everything." Theron's voice was hollow. "I've consulted witches, healers, scholars. They all say the same thing. A life for a life. Death for freedom. Then we find Morgatha. Make her break it. She disappeared 2 years ago. No one knows where." He stopped, stood slowly. "Wait, what?" "There was a rumor, in the Northern Territories, that Morgatha had a sister, a hedge witch who lived in the Thornwood Forest." Hope sparked in my chest. Could she break the curse? "Maybe, if she's powerful enough, if she's willing." He crossed to me. "But the Thornwood is 3 days' travel from here, through Red Claw territory, and I'm running out of time. Then we leave tonight." I grabbed my pack. "Right now, before they track us here. Kira, no more arguments." I turned to face him. "You're my mate, my king, and I'm not losing you to some curse without a fight." His expression cracked, something raw and vulnerable showing through. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not." I smiled. "But you're stuck with me anyway." He pulled me into a fierce kiss, his hands tangling in my hair. The mate bond sang between us, bright and fierce and terrifyingly fragile. "If this fails," he said against my lips, "if the curse takes me." "It won't. But if it does, promise me you'll run. Promise me you won't try to sacrifice yourself." I looked into his golden eyes and lied. "I promise." We left the temple under cover of darkness, 2 fugitives heading into a deadly forest with nothing but hope and a desperate prayer. Behind us, the city slept, unaware that somewhere in its depths, the Red Claw Pack had discovered 2 missing guards, and the hunt had begun. Chapter 4. The Thornwood Forest earned its name. Massive thorn bushes blocked every path, their barbs as long as my fingers and sharp enough to slice through leather. The trees were twisted things, their branches gnarled and reaching like skeletal hands. And the scent. Wrong. Everything smelled wrong. "Stay close," Theron said, his hand wrapped around mine. The chains still bound his wrists, but he'd learned to move with them, to use them as weapons if needed. We'd been walking for 2 days. 2 days of hiding from Red Claw patrols, sleeping in caves, eating whatever we could forage. Theron's condition worsened with each passing hour. His eyes stayed gold now. His scent grew more feral, more dangerous. Sometimes when he looked at me, I saw the wolf calculating, hunting. But he never hurt me. Never lost control, despite how close he came. "How much further?" I asked, pushing through another thorn barrier. My dress was in tatters, my arms covered in scratches. "The rumors said the witch lives in the heart of the forest. We're close." He stopped suddenly, his nostrils flaring. "Someone's here." I froze. "Red Claw?" "No, something else." His lip curled back from his teeth. "Magic. Old magic." The forest around us began to shift. The trees moved, their roots pulling up from the earth to create new paths, new barriers. Thorn bushes sprouted and died in seconds. And then she appeared. She was ancient, skin like weathered parchment, eyes milky white, hair the color of spider silk. But the power radiating from her made my wolf whimper in submission. "Well, well!" Her voice was surprisingly strong. "A cursed king and his foolish Omega. Come to beg for salvation." Theron stepped in front of me protectively. "Are you Morgatha's sister?" "I am Alira." She circled us slowly, leaning on a staff made from twisted thornwood. "And yes, I know why you're here. The forest whispers, you see. Tells me everything." "Can you break the curse?" I asked. Those milky eyes found me. "Brave little thing, aren't you? Most Omegas would have fled by now." "She's not most Omegas," Theron said quietly. Alira cackled. "No, I suppose not. The mate bond between you burns bright. Almost bright enough to—" She trailed off, her expression sharpening. "Interesting?" "What?" I stepped forward. "What do you see?" "The curse. It's wrapped around him like chains. But there's something else. Something in your bond." She pointed her staff at me. "You carry Wolf's bane in your bloodline, child." I blinked. "What?" "That's impossible. I'm just Omega." "Your great-grandmother was a healer. She worked with Wolf's bane, developed immunity to it." Alira's smile was knife-sharp. "That immunity passed to you. Diluted, but present." Theron's hand tightened on mine. "What does that mean?" "It means," Alira said slowly, "that there might be another way to break the curse. One that doesn't require death." Hope exploded in my chest. "Tell us, please." "The curse feeds on the king's power, turning it toxic, like poison." Alira gestured with her staff. "But what if someone could absorb that poison? Draw it out like venom from a wound?" "The Wolf's bane immunity," Theron breathed. "Exactly." Alira looked at me. "You could potentially absorb the curse through the mate bond, filter it through your immunity. It would weaken it enough that I could break what remained. Then let's do it." I stepped forward. "Now. Before. It will hurt." Alira's expression was grave. "The curse is powerful. It will fight. And if your immunity isn't strong enough, it could kill you. Or turn her feral," Theron added, his voice rough with fear. "Absolutely not. We'll find another way." "There is no other way." I turned to face him. "This is our chance. Our only chance. I won't risk your life. It's my life to risk." My voice echoed through the forest. "I chose this. I chose you. Let me save you." His golden eyes blazed with emotion, fear and love, and desperate hope all tangled together. "Kira, please." I cupped his face, feeling the fever heat of the curse burning through him. Let me do this. For us. He pressed his forehead to mine, his breathing ragged. If anything happens to you, it won't. I kissed him softly. Trust me. Trust the bond. Elira cleared her throat. Touching. But we need to begin now. The curse is accelerating. He has hours, not days. She led us deeper into the forest, to a clearing where a massive stone altar stood. Runes covered its surface, glowing faintly with ancient power. Lie down, she commanded Theron. He obeyed reluctantly, his chains rattling against the stone. The moment he lay flat, the chains began to glow, responding to the altar's magic. What's happening? I demanded. The altar recognizes his bloodline, his kingship. Elira began drawing symbols in the dirt around the altar. It's responding. She looked at me. You need to lie beside him. Skin to skin. The mate bond must be as strong as possible. I climbed onto the altar, pressing myself against Theron's side. His arm came around me immediately, holding me close. I love you, he whispered. The words stole my breath. We'd never said it. Hadn't had time, hadn't dared. I love you too, I whispered back. Elira raised her staff. This will hurt. Both of you, don't break contact no matter what. If the bond breaks during the ritual, you'll both die. We understand, Theron said. Then let us begin. She slammed her staff into the ground. The world exploded in pain. Chapter 5. Fire. Everything was fire. The curse poured into me through the mate bond, thick and oily and wrong. It burned through my veins like molten silver, seeking to corrupt, to destroy. My wolf's bane immunity rose to meet it. The two forces clashed inside me, a war being waged in my blood. I screamed, my body arching off the altar. Theron's arms locked around me, holding me down. I've got you. Stay with me. The curse showed me visions. His family dying, turning feral one by one. His kingdom burning. The witch's laughter as everything he loved crumbled to ash. All of his pain, all of his guilt, all of his rage. It tried to consume me. But I was stronger than it expected. My immunity grabbed the curse like hands grabbing smoke, pulling it out of Theron thread by thread. The wolf's bane in my blood neutralized the dark magic, breaking it down, rendering it harmless. But there was so much. Too much. She's failing, Elira's voice sounded distant. The curse is too strong. No. Theron's roar shook the clearing. Kira, fight! Don't you dare leave me. I could feel myself slipping, the curse overwhelming my immunity, filling every cell with toxic darkness. Then the mate bond flared to life. Not just my bond to Theron, his bond to me. His love, his faith, his desperate need pouring into me like light into shadow. And suddenly, I wasn't alone. We fought the curse together. His strength and my immunity combining, working as one. The poison that had seemed overwhelming began to crack, to fragment. Now! Elira shouted. While it's weakened! Her staff blazed with white light. She brought it down on the altar with a thunderous crack. The curse shattered. I felt it break apart inside me, dissolving into nothing. The last threads of dark magic fled from Theron's body, pulled through our bond and neutralized in my blood. Then there was only silence and pain. So much pain. I was dimly aware of Theron lifting me, his chains, the chains, clattering to the ground, broken. His voice in my ear, rough with tears. Kira, please wake up. She needs rest, Elira said. She's burned through her immunity. It will regenerate, but slowly. Keep her warm. Keep her close. Darkness pulled at me. I fought it, but I was so tired. Sleep, little Omega, Theron whispered. I'll keep you safe. I swear it. I let the darkness take me. I woke to the scent of pine and winter frost. Pure. Clean. No more curse taint. Theron? My voice came out as a croak. Here. He was beside me immediately, his face haggard, but his eyes were silver again. Beautiful, clear silver. It worked, I breathed. It worked. He laughed, the sound broken with relief. You insane, brilliant, foolish woman. It worked. We were in a small cottage. Alira's, I assumed. Warm furs covered me, and a fire crackled in the hearth. How long? 2 days. He stroked my hair gently. You've been unconscious for 2 days. I was afraid. I'm okay. I struggled to sit up. My body felt like it had been trampled by horses, but I was alive. The curse is really gone? Really gone. He held up his wrists. The chains were gone, leaving only faded scars. Alira said when the curse broke, the spell binding the chains broke too. I'm free, Kira. Because of you. Emotion clogged my throat. We did it together. No. He cupped my face. You saved me. You risked everything, fought through pain that would have killed most wolves. And you saved me. That's what mates do. Not all of them. His thumb traced my cheekbone. You're extraordinary, and I love you more than I thought possible. I pulled him down for a kiss, savoring the taste of him, the feel of him, the knowledge that we'd won. When we finally parted, Alira was standing in the doorway, a knowing smile on her weathered face. The young king awakens his queen, she said. Good. We have much to discuss. Theron helped me sit up fully. What do you mean? The curse is broken, but the northern kingdom still lies in ruins. Your people still suffer under your uncle's rule. Alira leaned on her staff. What will you do about it, King Theron? He was quiet for a long moment. Then his hand found mine, our fingers interlacing. I'll take back what's mine, he said softly, but not alone. Never alone again. He looked at me, and in his silver eyes, I saw the king he'd been. The king he would be again. Will you stand with me? He asked. As my mate? As my queen? Tears spilled down my cheeks. Always. Alira cackled. Then you'll need an army. Lucky for you, I know where to find one. Chapter 6. The northern refugees had scattered across the territories when the kingdom fell, hiding in plain sight among the southern packs. Alira knew where most of them were. Your father's general, Aldrich, leads a group in the Ironwood territory. They've been waiting for you to return. She spread a map across her table. 200-strong fighters, loyal to the crown. Theron studied the map, his expression intense. Aldrich survived? I thought he died with the others? He nearly did. But he escaped the palace during the final assault. He's been gathering survivors ever since, hoping you'd return to claim your throne. My heart swelled. Then we have allies. More than that. Alira tapped another location. Your cousin, Princess Sarah. She's been living in hiding in the Eastern Territories. She has contacts, resources, information about your uncle's forces. Theron's hand tightened on mine. Sarah's alive? Very much so. And very angry. She's been planning her own rebellion. Alira's smile was sharp. Between her network and Aldrich's fighters, you have the beginning of an army. What about the Red Claw Pack? I asked. They'll be hunting us. Let them try. Theron's voice carried an edge I'd never heard before. Command, authority, power. The king awakening. We're not running anymore. Over the next week, we made plans. Alira provided us with supplies, weapons, and something more precious. Hope. She sent messages through her network, calling the scattered northern wolves home. They came. First in ones and twos, then in groups. Soldiers, healers, scholars. Common folk, all loyal to their king. All ready to fight. Aldrich arrived on the 8th day. He was a massive wolf, gray-haired and battle-scarred, with eyes like flint. When he saw Theron, he dropped to one knee. My king! We thought you lost. I was. Theron pulled him to his feet. But I'm found now, thanks to her. He drew me forward. My mate, Kira. Aldrich studied me with those sharp eyes. Then he bowed. My queen, we owe you everything. I flushed. You're the Omega who saved our king when we couldn't. His voice was gruff. That makes you worthy of the crown. Princess Sarah arrived 2 days later. She was beautiful, golden-haired and fierce-eyed, with the same regal bearing as Theron. When she saw him, she screamed and threw herself into his arms. You bastard! She was crying and laughing at once. I mourned you. 2 years I mourned you. I'm sorry, cousin. Theron held her tight. I thought you were dead too. She pulled back, punching his shoulder. Well, we're both idiots then. Her gaze shifted to me, assessing. And who's this? My mate, my queen, Kira. Sarah's eyebrows rose. An Omega queen, Uncle will have a fit. Good, I said. She laughed, bright and genuine. Oh, I like her. She can stay. With Sarah and Aldrich, our army grew. 500 wolves. Then 1,000. Word spread that the cursed king had been healed, that he was gathering forces to reclaim his throne. The northern wolves came home. But so did troubling news. Your uncle has fortified the palace, Sarah reported during a war council. 3,000 soldiers. Siege weapons. He knows you're coming. Then we don't give him time to prepare further. Theron's finger traced our route on the map. We march in 3 days. Hit him fast and hard before he can gather more forces. What about the Red Claw pack? Aldrich asked. They'll want revenge for the guards you killed. I'd almost forgotten about them. In the rush of army building and planning, they'd seemed distant. But Aldrich was right. They wouldn't let us go easily. I'll handle them, I said. Everyone turned to look at me. They want me, not the army. I was the one who broke our deal. I straightened my shoulders. Let me negotiate. Offer them something in exchange for leaving us alone. Absolutely not. Theron's voice was flat. I'm not using you as bait. I'm not bait. I'm your queen. I met his eyes. And I'm trying to prevent unnecessary bloodshed. Let me try diplomacy first. If it fails, we fight. She has a point, Sarah said. The Red Claw pack is powerful. If we can avoid making enemies of them. Theron looked torn. Finally, he nodded. Fine, but I'm coming with you, and a full guard. Deal. We rode to the Red Claw compound with 20 of our best fighters. Theron beside me, Aldrich at our backs, a show of strength and unity. The Red Claw leader met us at the gates. His eyes widened when he saw Theron. Unchained, powerful, clearly no broken slave. So the rumors are true, he said slowly. The Omega bought herself a king. She saved a king, Theron corrected, his voice cold. And now that king is asking for peace between our packs. Peace. The leader laughed. You killed 2 of my wolves, broke your deal. And you want peace? I want to offer you something better than revenge, I said. Trade rights. When King Theron reclaims the Northern Kingdom, he'll need partners in the South. Legitimate partners for legitimate goods. The leader's expression sharpened with interest. You're offering me access to northern trade routes? And protection from northern raiders. And favorable tariffs. Theron stepped forward. My uncle has been hoarding resources, choking trade. When I take the throne, I'll open the borders. You could be very wealthy, if you're smart. Silence stretched between them. And if I refuse? The Red Claw leader asked. Then we'll remember that when we march north with an army of 1,500 wolves. Theron's smile was all teeth. And you'll remember that you could have been our ally. The Red Claw leader studied us both. Then he extended his hand. You have a deal, King Theron. Trade rights and protection. In exchange, we forget about the dead guards and the broken Omega contract. Theron shook his hand. Agreed. We left the compound with one less enemy and one more ally. That was well done, Aldrich said as we rode back. Your queen has a talent for negotiation. She has many talents, Theron said, his eyes warm on me. I'm just fortunate she chose me. You saved me first, I reminded him. No. He caught my hand, bringing it to his lips. You saved me. In every way that matters. Chapter 7. The march north took 2 weeks. Our army grew as we traveled. Northern wolves who'd been hiding came out of the shadows, swelling our ranks to 2,000 strong. Word spread like wildfire. The cursed king was healed. The lost crown prince had returned. The people were ready to fight. We camped a mile from the palace on the night before the battle. Fires dotted the hillside like stars, and the air thrummed with anticipation. I couldn't sleep. I stood at the edge of camp, looking toward the palace. Even from here, I could see it. The white stone walls, the towers reaching toward the sky. Beautiful and deadly. Having second thoughts? Theron's arms wrapped around me from behind. I leaned into him. About us? Never. About tomorrow? Terrified. Good. Fear keeps us sharp. He pressed a kiss to my neck. But we'll win. We have to. What if we don't? I turned in his arms. What if... He silenced me with a kiss. Then we'll die together. But I don't intend to die, Kira. I intend to put that crown on your head and make you my queen in every way that matters. Heat flooded through me. Is that a promise? It's a vow. His silver eyes burned in the firelight. After tomorrow, I'm claiming you properly, mating you in front of the entire kingdom, making you mine in every way. My wolf purred at the thought. I'll hold you to that. Please do. He kissed me again, deeper this time. Come, we should rest. Dawn comes early. We returned to our tent where Sarah was already asleep in the corner, snoring softly. Theron and I lay together on our bedroll, wrapped in each other's arms. I'm proud of you, he whispered, of how strong you've been. How brave. I had a good reason to be brave. I traced the line of his jaw. The best reason. After tomorrow, no more running. No more hiding. Just us. Building a kingdom together. Together, I agreed. I fell asleep to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, dreaming of crowns and thrones, and a future that was finally, impossibly ours. Dawn broke red and gold across the sky. Our army assembled in formation, shields locked, weapons ready. Theron stood at the front on a massive black stallion, looking every inch the king he was born to be. I rode beside him on a smaller mare, my heart hammering. The palace gates opened. My uncle's army poured out, 3,000 strong, armored and organized. At their head rode a male who looked like an older, crueler version of Theron. King Marius, the usurper. Little nephew! His voice boomed across the field. Come to die like your father. I came to take back what you stole, Theron called back. Surrender the crown. Face justice for your crimes. I'll be merciful. Marius laughed. Merciful? I showed your family mercy. I could have killed you all slowly. Instead, I gave you the gift of the curse, a fighting chance. You murdered children, Theron's voice shook with rage. You destroyed our kingdom. Your mercy is poison. And yet you're here, alive, healed. Marius's eyes found me. Thanks to that little Omega, I hear. Tell me, nephew, was she worth the price? Did she give her life to save you? She didn't have to. Theron drew his sword. She found another way, because she's braver and smarter than you'll ever be. How touching. Marius raised his hand. Kill them. All of them. The armies charged. The battle was chaos. Steel on steel, snarls and screams. The scent of blood thick in the air. Our wolves fought with desperate fury, knowing this was for their home, their freedom, their future. Theron cut through enemies like they were paper, his power unleashed fully for the first time since the curse broke. He was magnificent, deadly, and graceful, and utterly unstoppable. I stayed back with Sarah and a guard unit, watching, waiting. Then I saw it, a group of Marius's soldiers breaking away from the main battle, circling toward our supply lines. If they cut us off, if they destroyed our resources. Sarah, I pointed. They're flanking. I see them. She drew her sword. Stay here, No, I'm coming with you. Kira, I'm your queen. Start treating me like one. I grabbed a sword from a fallen soldier. Let's go. We rode hard, our guard following. We caught the flanking force before they reached the supplies. The fight was brutal and close. I'd never held a sword before, but adrenaline and desperation made me quick. I blocked, parried, somehow stayed alive. Sarah fought like a demon beside me, her blade a silver blur. We pushed them back, drove them off. When it was over, I was covered in blood, some mine, most not, and shaking like a leaf. Not bad, Sarah panted. For your first battle. I think I'm going to be sick. Later. Look. She pointed to the main battlefield. Theron had reached Marius. The two kings clashed in the center of the chaos, their power shaking the ground. Silver light and shadow magic. The rightful heir against the usurper. We need to help him, I said. No. Aldrich appeared beside us, blood splattered but alive. This is his fight. His right. We hold the line. He wins the crown. So we held. Fought off wave after wave of Marius's soldiers, while Theron and his uncle battled for the kingdom. And then, with a roar that shook the sky, Theron drove his blade through Marius's heart. The usurper fell. The battle ended. The palace was ours. Marius's remaining forces surrendered. The soldiers who'd been forced to serve him laid down their weapons, relief clear on their faces. We'd won. I found Theron in the throne room, standing before the crown that had been his father's. Blood stained his armor. Exhaustion lined his face, but he stood tall. It's over, I said softly. Not quite. He turned to me, his silver eyes warm. I need my queen before I can claim my crown. Sarah appeared with Aldrich and Elira, who'd traveled with the army. The old witch was smiling. Shall we make this official? She asked. The coronation was simple. No grand ceremony, no elaborate rituals. Just the people who'd fought for this moment, gathering to witness their king claim his birthright. Elira placed the crown on Theron's head, a circlet of silver etched with ancient runes. Hail, King Theron of the Northern Kingdom, she proclaimed. Long may he reign. Long may he reign, the crowd echoed. Then Theron knelt before me. Kira. He took my hands. You saved me, healed me, fought beside me. You've earned this crown 1,000 times over. Will you wear it? Will you rule beside me? Will you be my queen in truth? Tears spilled down my cheeks. Yes, always yes. Elira placed a second crown on my head, delicate silver woven with moonstone. Hail, Queen Kira of the Northern Kingdom, she said. Long may she reign. Long may she reign. Theron rose and kissed me, deep and claiming, in front of the entire assembly. When we parted, he was smiling. Now it's over. Now it begins, I corrected. He laughed and swept me into his arms. Then let's begin properly. I have a mating to complete. The crowd cheered as he carried me from the throne room toward the royal chambers. Our chambers now. Chapter 8. The royal bedchamber was exactly as I'd imagined. Massive stone walls softened by tapestries, a fireplace large enough to stand in, and a bed that could fit 5 people. Theron set me down gently, his hands lingering on my waist. Are you sure? He asked softly. After everything today, if you need time? I silenced him with a kiss. I've waited long enough. I want this. I want you. His control snapped. He kissed me fiercely, his hands tangling in my hair, pulling me flush against him. I could feel every hard line of his body, the barely leashed power thrumming beneath his skin. Mine, he growled against my lips. My mate. My queen. Yours, I agreed breathlessly. Always yours. The mating was everything I'd dreamed, fierce and tender, passionate and sweet. When his teeth finally sank into my neck, marking me as his, the bond between us exploded into brilliant light. Complete. Perfect. Whole. Afterward, we lay tangled together, my head on his chest, his arms wrapped protectively around me. I never thought I'd have this, he whispered. A mate, a kingdom, a future. Neither did I. I traced patterns on his chest. I was just trying to survive day to day, and then you changed everything. You changed everything, he corrected. You saved a broken king with 3 copper coins and a heart too big for your own good. I laughed. Best 3 coppers I ever spent. Definitely. He pressed a kiss to my hair. What do you want to do first? As queen? I thought about it. Help the northern wolves who've been scattered. Bring them home. Rebuild what was destroyed. Of course you'd think of others first. His voice was warm with affection. That's why you'll be a great queen. You actually care. What do you want to do? Besides make love to you every day for the rest of our lives? He grinned at my blush. Restore the kingdom. Make it safe again. Build alliances with the southern packs, including the Red Claw, surprisingly enough. We make a good team, I said. The best team. He rolled us over until I was beneath him, his silver eyes gleaming. Now, my queen, I believe we have several weeks of pent-up mating urges to address. I laughed as he kissed me again, losing myself in the warmth of him, the rightness of us. We'd fought curses and armies and impossible odds, but we'd won, and our future stretched ahead, bright and beautiful, and ours. Epilogue 5 years later. I stood on the balcony of the palace, watching the sunset paint the northern mountains in shades of gold and crimson. Below, the kingdom thrived, rebuilt stronger than before, bustling with life and laughter. Warm arms wrapped around my very pregnant belly. You should be resting, Theron murmured, nuzzling my neck. I've been resting all day. I needed air. I leaned back against him, and I wanted to see the kingdom. Our kingdom, he corrected, that we built together. It was true. In 5 years, we'd accomplished what seemed impossible. The scattered northern wolves had come home. We'd rebuilt the cities, restored the trade routes, forged lasting peace with the southern packs, even the Red Claw, who'd become our most profitable trading partner. The curse was a distant memory. The war, a scar that had healed. She's kicking again, I said, pressing his hand to my belly. Theron's face lit up with wonder. Strong, like her mother. Or him. We don't know yet. Either way, he kissed my temple. They'll be perfect, because they're ours. Sarah appeared in the doorway, her own mate, a handsome beta from the Eastern Territories beside her. There you are, the council's waiting. Something about tariff negotiations with... Oh. She saw my belly and grinned. Kicking again? Constantly. I turned to face them. Tell them we'll be there in a moment. When they left, Theron turned me in his arms, his silver eyes soft. Do you ever regret it? He asked. Spending those 3 coppers? Tying yourself to a broken king? I cupped his face. Never. Not for a single second. You gave me everything, Theron. A home, a purpose, a love I didn't know existed. You gave me life, he said simply. When I was ready to die, you showed me what I had to live for. We saved each other, I corrected. That's what mates do. He kissed me, slow and sweet and full of promise. Come on, I said, pulling back reluctantly. We have a kingdom to run. And later? His eyes gleamed with mischief. Later, you can help me with this backache. I grinned at his disappointed expression. What? I'm 8 months pregnant. Did you expect something else? I can hope, he grumbled, but he was smiling. We walked hand in hand through the palace corridors, the king and his Omega Queen, ready to face whatever challenges the future held. Because together, we were unstoppable. Because love, real, true, sacrificial love, could break any curse, win any battle, build any kingdom. And because sometimes, the best investments weren't made in gold or silver. They were made in 3 copper coins and a leap of faith. Closing. And there we have it, my lovely listeners. The tale of Kira and Theron, the Omega who spent her last coins to save a king and found herself crowned beside him. I hope this story warmed your heart the way it warmed mine. Remember, true love isn't about grand gestures or perfect circumstances. It's about showing up, taking risks, and choosing each other every single day. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you loved most. Was it the auction scene? The curse-breaking ritual? The battle for the kingdom? I want to hear from you. And here's a little preview of our next tale coming soon. The Alpha's rejected mate returns, carrying his heir. Oh yes, my darlings, we're diving into second chance romance with a twist that'll have you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, this is Luna, reminding you that every wolf has their perfect mate. Sometimes you just have to be brave enough to claim them. Sweet dreams and happy listening.